Welcome to the Johnny Dell Football Academy podcast on the channel that's trying to answer the whys and hows of the game by talking through and dissecting game film and diving deeper to explain why the X's zig and the O's zag. I am Adam Marino, joined by Mr. Johnny Dell, and we are reminding you, as always, the most fun way to watch is on YouTube, where we go live. There you can comment into the live show. Be sure to hit the notification bell and turn on your notifications so you can be a part of the conversation. We also stream live on Facebook and X. Also, the audio versions are always found on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Now, if you are live with us in the chat, it's probably because you are subscribed, you've hit the notification bell, and turned those notifications on. So, when sharing with your friends, be sure to let them know. We also love to hear from you outside of our live show. Email us at johnnydellsfootballacademy@gmail.com, and you can always check out the website jfa49.com, as it is the most fun way to support the channel. Also, the way we boost the chat and boost the algorithm is to type out hashtag JD49.
Oh, that's a strip! That's a strip! That's a strip! That's our ball! That's our ball! Let's go! Let's go! Come on!
Victory Monday. Come on! That's my Johnny. Welcome in to a Victory Monday. It is September 8th. We're still hype. We are undefeated. We already got our Seattle game under our belt. Like, so many good things. Salah is back. Like, Brock Purdy. We have the catch part 3. I don't know. That was amazing.
No, that's dude. Where's your the catch 3 was Vernon Davis.
I thought that was what was 2?
That was Terrell Owens.
Terrell Owens. Okay,
Owens!
so that's 4.
Owens!
4. He caught it.
Owens!
He caught it. He caught it. Yeah. All right, the catch 4. How about your first NFL catch? How about it? Like, how about having your first career catch being in the league for like 3 years, and all you do is
That was his third career catch.
Why does everywhere it say first?
Because he had his first career catch in the game. He had 2 catches on that drive, or 3 catches on that drive total. So they did a little shovel screen to him. He caught a big third down in the flat off the left side, rolled across the line of scrimmage for the first down, and that was his third catch. So that game, he came in with 0 career catches
and had 3
into that game, and then had 3 and had that one, which I do like it being called.
I thought it was Farrell. I thought Farrell had those other ones. Just
you thought, just like you thought, and we got into a pretty heated. So let's just finish this now, because backstage, Adam and I were getting pretty heated with each other, because he's like, yeah, that game's really tight when you don't play well and you play bad. And I was like, ease up, Adam, we won. And I'm like, the defense played great. He goes, yeah, well, when you throw 2 picks. And look, that first pick, everybody who was in live with me saw my reaction, and I broke it down like I was talking about it as it was going. I said, when Christian McCaffrey fell down on that play because he was coming in for the run block, you didn't have anybody to influence the weak side hook defender. And so you're not going to get a stretch, and Brock can't let that go. Now, again, his check down option is gone because he's blocking. This is why we tend to not have pressure answers blocking wise. We just want hots, because then if you have those as pressure answers and they do like a sim pressure, you're screwed, because now you don't have any way to influence zones. That's why Kyle has the philosophy that he does. But the second pick, I don't have too much of an issue with that. Like, looking back on it, I went and watched the tape this morning. I don't have as much of an issue. That's a play we've run for a very long time. It's called Rider, where you're going to run a clearing route down the seam on one side. We ran a little swing pass look on the other side. So you have on that side, you have Marquez Valdez-Scantling is running a clearing route. And then you have your running back that's swinging out, and you have a tight end who's looking like he's just blocking. He is not even looking for the ball. Okay, he's there in case it's a throw over there. He's going to go block a guy. If you wait too long, you can't make that throw because it's going to be OPI. So that's trying to draw their 2-man coverage guys. The Seahawks were in cover 1 man with a lurk. So I have no problem with the throw. You got Ricky Pearsall on the high crosser, and Brock made this exact same throw to Juwan Jennings last year versus the Rams, where we watched Juwan Jennings climb the ladder and go make the catch. We've also seen other times in the past we've made this throw to Debo, and Debo will climb the ladder and knock the ball out, and at worst it's an incompletion. Because that's the way this isn't a Brock thing. This is the way our offense and Kyle's offense has run on that for the entire time. Like if you get man coverage and it's single safety, that's your throw, because we're going to put the onus on the receiver. You either have to win or make it so that your quarterback can trust to make that throw every time. We've made that throw with every receiver. You can't say it's Ricky Pearsall. You don't make that throw. We made that throw with Ayuk. We made that throw with JJ. We've made that throw with Debo. Like we made that throw with Kittle. You've done it with every one of your receivers. So you can't say, well, it's Ricky. Well, Ricky's your number 1 receiver in this game. Who are you going to make that throw with? Marquez Valdez-Scantling? No. Russell Gage? No. Those are your receivers in this game, because Juwan Jennings is out. George Kittle is out. You're making that throw. That is on Ricky. And Kyle said the exact same thing in his presser. That's on Ricky to go make sure that is not a pick. And so I know it looked really bad. It looks like it's in triple coverage. MVS has got to run that clearing route harder. Maybe that's why you were let go in Seattle, because he gave up on the route 10 yards north. And so he needs to run that harder for about another 10 yards. We don't need Debo 2.0 on these clearing routes, because that's the safety just basically bailed. Once MVS throttled down, the safety bailed. And so it looks like, okay, he's throwing it into triple coverage. The other man coverage guy on our tight end, and again, this is because George Kittle's not in the game. He has no concern about that, so he bails out of his. And so it looks like he's throwing into triple coverage. It wasn't triple coverage. When Brock is in his windup, I'm looking at the screenshot right now, and I will show you guys the screenshot. That this is Brock in his windup. Like he is just starting his windup. That foot is cocking, and he's about to bring the ball back. Ricky's on the high crosser. The defender has lost his balance a little bit. You see the man coverage that Juice has a guy right over him. Understand this running back way out here is 6 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and it's 2nd and 12. That is not a good option. So if we're going to blame anybody for this, we start blaming Kyle and we start blaming Ricky. I don't have a problem with Brock pulling the trigger on this throw. So you have the deep safety is there, man coverage with Marquez Valdez-Scantling. You have a hook player sitting right over the middle. And then again, the tight end is not even looking for the ball. He's looking to block. This is man coverage. So I don't have a problem with this. And that's why I don't have a problem with that, Adam.
So that is all fair. What I was saying in real time, as that if that's happening, because in our little argument pre-show, you said he's got nowhere to throw it. And my big argument was, which I understand now seeing this, but my argument was, okay, then just throw it 4 yards higher and have it be incomplete and live to play another down. But I see where at that point of the throw that it was not, because I see, triple coverage. I didn't assume that Seattle literally put 3 guys out there to cover there, but there was 3 blue shirts in the area. I mean,
it looks terrible. It looks terrible when the ball arrives and there's 3 blue shirts and 1 white shirt, and you're going, right. Oh my gosh, why did he throw that? Well, it's not as clear cut. Like, you just can't throw this ball. Like, I mean, that was my reaction, and everybody and anybody in the broadcast saw it, like in live on assist saw it. I was like, "You can't do that! You can't do that!" Like, I look. If anything that people learned, those who were with it, was I'm as passionate a fan as watching during watching as anybody else. And the look on my face, I actually like went back and I paused it so because I could see the look on my face right when Brock let the ball go to throw what ended up being the game-winning touchdown. But because of what I saw in the end zone, I was like, I was bracing for a 3-pick game. It was not great. But I mean, overall, like especially on that play, like I see why he threw it, but this does set up the challenge that you have George Kittle, who clearly, and this is what everything showed from the tape last year, George Kittle was going to be a big part of that game. When you go back and look at the win last year, the win in our first meeting, that was the George Kittle game. 2 touchdowns, big time in the run game, blocking in the run game, had opened things up for other guys. The next meeting, and George has had a history of hamstrings. This is getting concerning for me because this is probably, I think, his 5th or 6th hamstring injury. Now that he had missed the game last year because of a hamstring that he pulled a couple weeks before that he's not there, and then you lose almost in the exact same kind of game. The difference was that at the end of the game, Geno Smith ran down on our defense and ran the ball in for a touchdown at the end with no time left. This time you get Nick Bosa is on the field for this one, and he stops and forces the fumble. But yeah, this was, I mean, now I will say the 49ers have last year, they were always seeming to be able to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. And this game was kind of one of the flipped with let's see, it's with 5 minutes left in the game, the Seahawks had a 71% chance of winning. So to be able to flip that.
Oh, that throw, get into that percentage. The throw to the tight end had like
was 14.6.
Yeah.
It was 14.6% chance of being completed. Now, what was amazing to me is it said that Brock was traveling at 16 miles an hour when he let the ball go. That was the bigger shocker to me. I was like, Brock was moving that fast? Wow. Right. All right. Yeah. Just kudos crazy to him.
So there's a few stats here, Johnny, that I want to go over, a few things to think about of where I was saying that we didn't play that well. This is what I mean. So the chat was talking about the Colts and Dolphins earlier. The only reason I want to bring that up is because I have here the whys and hows of the game. 38 minutes to 21 minutes was time of possession for the Colts Dolphins. Their score 33-8, and it was 20 something to 0 most of the game. All right. Now let's get into our time of possession, and it's very, very, very similar. Now, I always harp on this. You know, I love time of possession. I love when we win it. And not only did we win it, but we almost doubled it. We were 37-58 to 22-02. That's almost identical to a score that was 33-8. Was our score 33-8, faithful? It was not, because we were shooting ourselves in the foot, and our defense, I agree, was lights out. I'm very proud of giving up less than 250 yards, I think, total. Sam Darnold did not impress me one iota. He had 3 good throws in the whole game. 3 to me, like, man, defense was not the issue. But again, and I get it, I guess I will blame it on the injuries, because you don't have Ayuk already. You don't, then Jennings and Kittle, and it just kind of like takes the air out. But 38 minutes to 22 is nuts. Also, the other stat of the day is not only were we 2 for 2 on 4th down, but we were 7 for 14 on 3rd down. So that is a winning formula on the road to go 50% when they were only 3 for 10 on third down.
Yeah, I mean, I hear what you're saying. At the same point, when you look at that Dolphins Colts game, the Dolphins were terrible. To a 60% completion percentage. I mean, they brought in Zach Wilson. They brought in Zach Wilson into that game.
Everything you need to know.
To a 60.9% completion, 51.7 rating, 114 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Daniel Jones was 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He played, I mean, it's Daniel Jones. He played a good game. But when I look at there's different things going on here. You also have to remember that this game for the 49ers should have been 23 to 13. That should have been the score.
The missed field goals.
I mean, when you like, are we going to sit here and say that that's on our offense for Jake Moody missing a 27-yard field goal? No,
Jake I don't want field goals there. But I don't want field goals there either.
Okay, well, I want $1 million, but I don't always get what I want. The fact is, your kicker needs to make a 27-yard field goal. You have another field goal that was what, a 35-yarder, and it was blocked.
Mike B.
What are we? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Like, what did I say the score prediction? My score prediction was on Friday, Adam. I said it was 24-13 49ers.
And that's what it should have.
It would have been 23-14 49ers if you don't have a blocked stinking field goal and your kicker misses a 20. That is like missing the old extra point. That's right. Wild.
Right.
The old extra point was 19 yards. You're at 27. Like, kickers in the NFL are something like 99.5% on 30 yards or less. Like, yes, I get that. Well, you know, we had the time and possession and all that. Yeah, the defense played great. And I was frustrated through the whole game. Like, the defense has been carrying the bag for you, and they shouldn't have been. Like, this is a team that you are young on defense. You are not young. We'll get to the super chat in a second. I have to finish my thought here, or else it's like I get it in there. But this is it doesn't have to do with that. But that you have a young defense. We were starting 4 rookies on the defensive side, and you're starting no rookies on the offensive side. So I completely agree with that. The fact was Miami was really doing Indianapolis a lot of favors there as far as that game. I mean, Daniel Jones, 75.9% completion.
Danny Dimes.
I mean, of course, Brock was 74.3% completion. You look at that game, the game as far as the difference, you're looking at one of those picks, which again, in my opinion, should be Ricky Pearsall. That's the difference, and 2 missed field goals. That's the difference in the game for me. Between when you say, well, you know, this one's way lopsided and ours wasn't. Well, there's like 3 plays, 2 of them being special teams, is why that game was different.
Oh, and here's the deal. As we get to the super chat, and this is what I want to speak to. Whoa! Zach comes in and says, Adam, which defense is better? Duh. Now, but this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying to that. I'm just pointing out the fact. I'm not saying that, oh my gosh, like I'm not blaming our offense for that. I'm blaming Jake Moody. I'm blaming we are on the road playing a much tougher team than what Miami, that was a hot knife through butter, was the Colts offense. I'm not blaming our offense.
That Colts defense is, I mean, or that Miami defense. Now, I will say, I was expecting, sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. I was expecting when I looked at the stats to see more rushing production from the Colts, but they had about the same sort of rushing production that we did, which was not much. It was less than 4 yards a carry for them. It was less than 4 yards a carry for us. Of course, ours was even a little bit lower. Looks like our running backs. I'm trying to do some quick math here. That's Our running backs are little over 3.2 yards per carry combined. As far as rushing, that's not good. Like, and we had far too many. I think the biggest thing, and where context in all of these numbers matters, a 9-yard run and then a 3-yard loss is worse than when you have a 3-yard run and a 3-yard run. Like, because you have a 9-yard run on first down and then you have a 3-yard loss. Well, or vice versa. Like, you have a 9-yard run, you get a first down, then you have a 3-yard loss in your second and 13. Second and 13 is worse than second and 7. I mean, that's just is. So when you have situations where the context of how you get to those rushing average numbers really matters, and we just had far too many, especially in the red zone. Again, far too many negative runs in the red zone. That has got to get cleaned up. They have got to figure out what is going on there. And it doesn't just seem like this is where teams are stacking the box on us and forcing us to throw. Seattle's most of that game, like they have all their time under Mike Macdonald, sits in a too high shell a lot. They just do a lot of things as far as really aggressive into the gaps. And we were seeming to be unprepared for their attack plan this time for what they wanted to do as far as filling those gaps. But he's got he does have a point. Like, Seattle's defense, Mike Macdonald, there was a reason he was hired there in Seattle, because he had the best defense in the league in Baltimore, and he's come and he's made that Seattle unit. I mean, when you look at their defensive line and what they were able to do, my goodness, Brock Purdy was pressured on over 65% of his passes.
Oh yeah.
And we were getting 3.2 yards per carry. Like, I don't expect our offense to not put up 20, 30 points in that game. Like, when you look at that, like, those things, you go, man, yeah, our offense should only be putting up about 20 points. We should have put up 23. And that should be enough to win the game, and it would have been. But special teams just continues to be a really sore heel for this team.
Yeah, my slight frustration with the offense is just saying, in the red zone, I think we should improve to not worry about Moody and just get in the end zone. However, the clap back on that is you're down 4 guys. So that's why I can't be too upset, and I'm just greedy. I want more touchdowns and less field goal blocks, less field goal misses. You can't miss the field goal if you just score 6. And even if you miss the PAT, 6 at a time is still better than not having 3, getting it blocked or whatever. I want to ask you, Johnny, about Robinson. 10 touches for less than 50 yards. But it didn't feel that way to me. It felt like he had more and he did some good things. But I wasn't able to see the intricacies. I don't know. You might not have had time to really dig in, on any like pass protection situations, or did you think he was in the right spots at the right time? What's your assessment as of Monday morning on our backup running back?
I mean, I was really proud that Christian McCaffrey was subbing himself out. That shows big growth. I mean, and an understanding, like, I have, and a maturity that says I have to pace myself. Like, I cannot be in here every play, every game. And with his injury history and things that have happened, like, this is that was big growth. I mean, the fact that Brian Robinson, I think he got something like 15 or 20 snaps in the game, is huge. That alone is huge.
Yeah.
And it came into play down the stretch. So, and he had a couple good runs in there. Again, we had far too many negative runs, and those aren't on the running backs. That's going to be on tight ends, receivers, offensive line, play call. So, really happy about that with Brian Robinson.
Yeah, I think he'll only get better as he learns the offense as well, and maybe they'll have more, like, I don't know, quote unquote packages kind of for him and things that he can do. He's a good
I
back.
don't know if that's not how they're going to operate, especially with the way that Christian McCaffrey is in it. And the lesson they learned last year was you don't plan to have like your Christian package and then everybody else package. Obviously that you can't just plug Brian Robinson in and do everything that McCaffrey does, but you're going to go into every week and you're not going to have Brian Robinson with only, 40% of your game plan plays able to run. They're going to go in where they can run 90% of their game plan on that.
So let's get to a
coming in super chat. Thank you, Mr. Cayman. Cayman's Island Podcast. Go check him out. He's there on the YouTubes, just like this.
YouTubery.
Some YouTubery. My overall thoughts on Micah Williams' performance. I wish I could give you a better answer because as a generous super chat, I wish I could give you a better answer. I haven't gotten that far into it. I got up, got to the office here, and for 45 minutes was watching tape, and 45 minutes of that was spent on 5 plays. Because I was so enraptured by Robert Saleh's defense, and so 4 of those were Robert Saleh's. I did watch it a little bit more than that actually, but I probably spent 80% of that time just watching through that and then catching up on the news, which we will get to right after this. Obviously. That and then I did a quick breakdown on one of our first third down stop of the game on the X there, or what used to be called Twitter. Are we ever gonna like fully accept it as just
I don't
X?
know.
I don't think so. It just kind of is what it is. Because it is great to have Robert Saleh back, but I haven't been able to really digest and see what Micah Williams did during the game. It was so hard to see the line play and know what kind of impact he did or didn't have. I really got to see it from the end zone view and see what happened there. But overall, considering what the defense as a whole did and limiting the run game for the most part, they were a little shaky there at some moments. I remember seeing Alfred Collins getting driven off the ball a little bit, but there was, I will say, Luke Gifford in a couple plays, really impressed with him. Really impressed with Luke Gifford. He's going to be a low key, really quality signing this year. So, they're like, for example, there was one play. It was the play they brought Jalen Milroe in. I should know that. I live right near Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
But they brought Jalen Milroe in. They brought him in for a quarterback draw, and Gifford was playing on the end, away from the ball, and he read it and then looped around and filled that gap really hard. I'm surprised seeing it from the end zone that Milroe didn't go into the concussion protocol because his head whipped back pretty hard. Gifford came in there and leveled him. And he had another play, really good set the edge play. So like Gifford just very early on was showing his presence in that game, and he's doing the dirty work. It's not all these flashy plays. I know D Winters was flashing all over the field yesterday.
Yes.
And Upton Stout flashing all over the field yesterday. But seeing like it's those things are really, really fun to see because you see a guy like Luke Gifford, because people are going to talk about Nick Martin or Tatum Bethune being in instead of Luke Gifford. They play different spots, and Luke Gifford is bringing an element and a bigger physical element so that we can run Michael on one side. You can bring Nick Bosa down in over a tackle, and you can put Luke Gifford on the outside, and you're still able to set an edge. And now you bring up an even stronger inside presence with Nick Bosa on the inside. This is more akin to what we did in 2017 and 18. And so that's just kind of the quick skinny on that.
So Lisa, thank you for the super chat. Yes, we are all here to check on your.
My heart was racing in the game yesterday. I'm not gonna lie. I think I even mentioned it during the live stream. I was like, I don't know about you guys, my heart's racing. And my wife's texting me. She's like, breathe, because she was in there. And some people may have seen my daughters were at it commenting in the chat, and I think my wife even put in there, she's like, now everybody gets to see what I experience at home. Like it really was like that was what was kind of fun about doing that yesterday, was I wasn't being performative in any way. Even with the way I was like talking and about plays, usually that's what I say out loud to myself when it's just me there, or my wife has to listen to, and she just kind of gave me that look of like, okay. As I'm talking about, you can't make that throw. There's nobody to influence the underneath defender. Like she's just kind of looking at me. But yeah. I mean, but you saw why Upton Stout, why they'd been so high on him, and why even as good of a preseason as Chase Lucas had, that Upton Stout was out there.
Yeah, I hated that penalty. Let's talk through their touchdown there, because I hate it because the ball was so what happened to the uncatchable? What is the actual rule on that?
So if the penalty occurs before the pass is thrown, it doesn't matter. If it occurs after the ball is thrown, it's considered uncatchable, there is no pass interference. So
it must have been like really close then, because
that one, in my opinion, should have been considered uncatchable. But that's part of what happens when you're Cooper Kupp and you've been able to go and make one-handed catches crazy in the end zone on the sideline, is that they're going to give you the benefit of the doubt that you might have been able to catch that.
Yeah.
It has to be clearly uncatchable. The thing is I don't think, like, and this is what I said on the broadcast yesterday. I remember going, you don't have to do that. That's Sam Darnold. You make him throw a tight window throw. You don't commit a penalty. Lisa, she's talking about her. She's talking about, I think, the Bosa strip sack. She was going crazy at the church picnic, screaming some
hallelujah.
Hallelujah. There were some hallelujahs going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. People, there's too many things I could say here, and I'm gonna keep it dialed down. But yeah, Upton Stout, like, yes, he had that bad play, and it did give them a touchdown. Like, you're looking at it's your ball. That is a 7-point swing at least. But it was the play. I remember he was in a curl flat zone, and he gained a little bit of depth, flat-footed, like he was going to attack the flat, read the ball was being thrown over him, and he gained enough depth and was able to jump up and deflect the ball. I think it was going to Njigba on a comeback, and he was able to break that up, which was a huge play in the game. Like, that's why you bring him in. He's got those long arms. He's got that serious range that he's able to condense those throwing lanes and those throwing holes like crazy. That's why he's out there. And I think he's going to go down as a pick that within 2 months, we're going to forget that everybody was really mad that we picked that, because I remember the social media going crazy when we picked that guy. Like, 3rd round, you need offensive line. You went and picked some weird defensive back out of a small school. And then we said the same thing about Nick Martin. I think those two guys, now Nick Martin has a ways to go to even get on the field as far as, cracking the lineup. He may be your replacement for D Winters in 2 years. That may be what they're projecting there, because we just, as long as you have Fred, you don't pay 2 linebackers big time money. You just don't. You can't invest that much time. They're going to invest it in the defensive line. So, but you have a special skill set there with Nick Martin. Upton Stout, you can see exactly why they picked him. And I don't think anybody's going to be complaining that we didn't pick Charles Grant out of William and Mary over Upton Stout. Charles Grant probably won't even get on the field this year. But Upton Stout, you see exactly why they picked him. Marcus Siegel, he was another guy I put on the tape, and we talked about him on this show. I was saying, wow, there's actually something really here, that this kid can come down from the deep safety spot in a hurry. He had to take better angles, and we saw that in this game. Big time game for Marcus Siegel. So those two rooks, I mean, really helped solidify that secondary that held Sam Darnold to 160 yards. I mean, the person who gave up more yards than anybody in that game was Ronaldo Green, who also still had some amazing plays. I mean, the fact you hold any NFL team to 13 points, you should win a lot of games.
Yeah, the defense definitely. I'm way high up. We should all be high on the 49ers defense. I want to talk about Sam Darnold a little bit. I just I wonder, he has said, he's gone on record and said that Brock Purdy literally has helped him when he was there. And then you think of last
Mhm.
year, they beat us, right? And he had a little, you would say, better receivers, last year, and we had our, mishaps in that game. But what did you think overall? There was never a moment where you're like, uh-oh, now it's Sam Darnold's time. Like, right?
Well, I mean, Sam Darnold showed he is who he's always been, or has been for a long time. Even last year with Minnesota, that what do we talk about on Friday? That Sam Darnold, outside of the one giant pass to Justin Jefferson, was about 160 yards. He didn't have
That's
Justin
what he
Jefferson,
was.
so guess what he had? He had 160 yards. I mean,
Isn't that funny?
that was the difference in this game. They scored they scored 20 points, right? The Vikings did last year against us, because of a 98-yard Justin Jefferson touchdown. They didn't have that this time, so you take that away. Literally, this was a Justin Jefferson-less Sam Darnold game.
That's so
Um,
crazy.
I mean, like that one play is the difference between his performance against us with Minnesota and then this one. I will say, just kind of as I'm thinking about that Minnesota game and the reactions of it, I remember, people are really kind of getting after Brock on this game. I will just say this, look, and I'm not trying to be a Brock apologist on all this stuff. I don't like the
Yeah, you
knee-jerk
are. It's
reaction.
okay.
No, I don't like the knee-jerk reactions that Brock threw 2 picks, and so therefore we're gonna say, and he had the one that should have been a touchdown to Ricky Pearsall, and the ball didn't get there quite on time, and people talking about all these things
Yeah.
do is this is confirmation bias, right? It's, I see what I have already said about Brock, and so this proves me right, and so it becomes these knee-jerk things on that, and so like, I remember coming off of the Minnesota game last year, because that was the second game of the year and we lost. And Brock had a very similar game to this Seahawks game. It was 2 picks and 258 yards. I want to say it was nearly identical yardage. Um, it was George Kittle went down in that game, I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. And very similar game. I think Debo went down in that game. And everybody coming out of that was the same thing. Brock threw these 2 picks, all that. Sound like turkeys, or chickens. But then what we saw over the next 6 weeks was that every quarterback that faced Minnesota struggled greatly. That actually, when you look at the first 8 weeks of the year, that Brock was the best quarterback performance of the quarterbacks who faced Minnesota, because their defense at the first part of that year was so stinking good. And what Flores was doing, he had brought in a number of changes and new wrinkles into their defense that was messing with everybody. Nobody could figure them out. No coaching staff could figure them out for the first 8 weeks. When you're able to step back and then look at things in retrospect, you actually say, you know what, Brock actually played like way better than a number of high profile quarterbacks against that Minnesota team. That what he did is actually, in context of what that defense was doing to teams, he actually played really well. I have a feeling we're going to look back on this game in 7 or 8 weeks and say, you know what Brock was able to do against that defense is actually a lot more impressive in retrospect, seeing it in context. I just have a feeling that's going to happen. Just again, because this felt like so much like that Minnesota game last year, in so many ways. And so that's just how I feel about it. But
Well, and
anyways,
this is why we need another pitch for your channel. I noticed there is a ton of people in the chat right now live, so want to take care of a couple things for you, Johnny. This channel, guys, if you are new to this channel, stay freaking tuned because this is where it gets good. Now that we're in the regular season, Johnny will have breakdown videos, and I think it was oh gosh, was it Technic Chick or couldn't remember who said, we really need a video on Salah's defense now that he's back, now that we have a full game under our belt. So we cannot wait for your defensive breakdowns. So during the season, Johnny's going to have videos of the game in which the X's and O's and the Y's and the hows and all the breakdown. And it's why we love the channel. And it speaks to what you were just talking about, is you can break down one of the interceptions that we talked about where, oh, it's triple coverage. Like, when you break that down, you will understand that, because already you've convinced me of it in the 40 minutes, that, hey, that's not necessarily on Brock, and you'll break down why. So make sure you hit the notification bell. Make sure that you show Niner fans this channel, because these breakdowns are, as Cayman Islands podcast says, breakdowns are seriously next level stuff, waiting patiently. That's what we're all excited about. And then we go live for the podcast Mondays and Fridays. But this is what exactly Johnny's talking about. Also, I want to give a shout out to Don't Bother Me, because he's been on it with my other show. You see my banner here in the background, Sports Idiot Nation. We go every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and he's always commenting on that YouTube page as well. And then comes in and hangs out with us here. So shout out to Don't Bother Me. But yeah, Johnny, what are you excited? I know you haven't broken down everything yet, but what's something that you're already thinking in your head of, like, ooh, I'm excited to break this down?
Salah's defense. I mean,
done.
yeah. I mean, that, like, there's no question that's what I'm really excited to watch, because it's just so fun to watch. I will also say thank you so much to the members of JFA49.com, our members website. You are the lifeblood of this channel. We call them the different tiers there. That's the members of our coaching staff, because you really do help me in everything that we do. There's quality control coach tier, there's position coach tier, and there's coordinator tier. Those are 3 different levels of support. As you guys, many of you know, and those maybe who are new for the live shows are coming in, and you might be hearing this for the first time, that the NFL is making this really hard on anybody, not just me. It's not just a targeted thing. They're just making this really hard for anybody. They don't like content creation outside of their sphere of influence. And so they're making it really hard, if not impossible, to monetize any of that work. And these videos, it's pretty much going to be, once I get the film, I'm hoping it's going to be here in the next 45 minutes. Then I'm going to get the downloadable versions of the film. I'm going to be diving into it, and I'm going to be working. I'll sleep about 5 hours tonight, and try and get it all done by tomorrow afternoon. And I'm just going to work through this. I usually do it through Monday Night Football. I'm sitting in my wife's office with our game and working through the film on one screen and doing the editing, and Monday Night Football on a third screen. That's usually how it goes. And I stay up, and then I stay up late, get up really early, just to try and get it out in time, and balancing my other job. So those that are members of the website, you're coming along and you're really helping that happen, to come alongside and help our family and what we do in bringing this content to you. So really appreciate that. Really appreciate the super chats that come in. All of you, thank you. It is so generous. I know I don't like asking for money with the members website. I just don't like doing it. I don't like asking money. I know people work hard for your money, and I don't like asking for things. So that's just not my nature. And so I really appreciate it. I wish it was just easier to just monetize it, but this is unfortunately the route that has had to be taken. So I'm excited to go look at Robert Saleh's defense and show everybody what is there. I really want to see the rookies. I want to take a look at them and what's going on there. I got to look at the offensive line. With the offensive line, they did just literally, probably as they landed and got into the building this morning, they signed Colton McKivitz to a 3-year, $45 million deal. That is something.
Yeah, I'm kind of beside myself a little bit in just like
beside yourself in like happiness.
No. Not in more like, really? Like, I'm not like, oh, distraught and upset, but I am like, things that make you go, like, what? I don't know. What's your take? What's your take?
Well, look, let's just go back to what I put on X. This was This was July 30th. So this was just a little over a month ago.
All right.
It says, I wouldn't be opposed to re-signing McKivitz preemptively. They'll need to address tackle at some point in the draft, but it allows them to address one or the other as the draft classes pan out. That I said I said back on July 30th that I was on board with them going ahead and before free agency signing Colton McKivitz. Because like what you don't do is you say we have to draft a tackle this draft. Because then you're gonna end up reaching for a spot. You're gonna end up reaching for a player that might not end up being worth the value. And that's very much how, like, because they didn't have to reach for a tackle in this draft, that allowed them to go get Micah Williams, not reach on another tackle. That allowed them to get Upton Stout. That allowed them to get Alfred Collins. Like, they didn't have to reach on a tackle in any of these places. And so they were able to do all this stuff. And I was looking at that if McKivitz hit free agency, they Lisa's taking side shots at you here, Adam.
Thank you for the super chat. Look, I'll keep giving Johnny money. Johnny doesn't like asking for money, but I will.
The enthusiasm level was not quite there. He's like, "Thank you for the super chat, Lisa." I'm sorry.
I'm just sitting here.
Funny. But if Colton McKivitz hit the open market, dude is going to get $20 million a year. Like we can poo on Colton McKivitz all we want. He was getting $20 million a year. It sounds crazy, but he was getting $20 million a year. Jalen Moore, his
there
backup
we go.
got $15 million. Got $15 million a year. The same contract with the Chiefs. How many snaps did Jalen Moore take Friday night?
I didn't see him. Yeah. Goose egg.
Zero. While Juwan Taylor got 4 penalties in the game. 2 false starts and 2 holding penalties. And the rookie, Josh Simmons, who, look, I felt he was the best tackle in the draft. He started at left tackle. But they paid Jalen Moore $15 million a year to ride the bench, be the backup tackle. And he was Colton McKivitz's backup last year.
I guess.
That when you look at Aaron Banks got paid $19.75 million by the Packers. And he was our 4th or 5th best lineman last year.
Mike B says Aaron Banks proved teams are desperate for linemen. Yeah. Agreed.
The Aaron Banks, like you look at Aaron Banks' contract, you look at Jalen Moore's contract. If Colton McKivitz hit the open market, he was going to get 20, 22, maybe even $23 million a year. Like that's what was going to happen. But because the 49ers said, hey, look, Colton, we know you probably get a really good contract in free agency, but you can get a guaranteed $27 million. You could have a torn patellar tendon this year. You could tear your ACL and you're going to miss out. You won't get that big payday. You can sign now. Get this. We will guarantee you $27 million. This will change your life forever. If you do it now. And they did it. And this means that the team has secured that spot. They don't have to go into next year's draft and say, we have to fill both tackle spots. Because you don't know, like what you don't want to do is something happens and Trent retires this offseason. And Colton McKivitz walks in free agency. Then you're screwed. You have to go get two tackles in a draft. When offensive linemen have been thin at best coming out of the draft, I don't like that. I like the idea of let's go get a guy and let's stash him for 2 years behind Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz. Well, and look, I know Joe Staley made the transition from right tackle his first year to left tackle from there on, but that's not as easy as Joe made it seem. That is really tough for a lot of players.
They don't grow on trees.
Like, and because the footwork is all backwards, so muscle memory is all backwards.
Yeah, the Chargers are doing it right now, right?
And well, I mean, so it's just, I'd rather draft a kid as a left tackle of the future, a la like when the Patriots tried to draft the quarterback of the future behind Tom for like 8 straight years because this could be the end of the year for Tom, and then he just kept playing.
Yeah.
But much like they did with Aaron Rodgers to Brett Favre in Green Bay, that they picked him while Brett Favre was clearly still had at least a couple years left there as the kid who was going to take over in the future. Same thing with Jordan Love behind Aaron Rodgers. Let's do that with the left tackle spot. This allows you to do that, and you don't have to move a guy to the right and then back. So I love the fact, I really do love this, that they re-signed Colt McKivens. They did it now. It's great. And I know we like to poo-poo on Jed York for not wanting to spend in free agency this year and do everything. The fact was, this now marks like $345 million or $445 million in new contracts that they've signed since May. The 49ers have. So, they're still spending some money, and they do have things. And that's not even including what the $3 million in extra incentives that Juwan Jennings had, which I'm glad now that it was an incentive-based raise. Because Juwan Jennings has missed time over the years, and it looks like he's going to miss a good bit of time now. But yep.
Yeah. So I want to jump around the league a little bit, especially with former 49er players. And the reason I want to do that is because Strawberry Reacts brings up a good point in the chat saying about Drake Greenlaw. Yeah, feel bad for him. Dude's a beast. Also, selfishly, we need him to play snaps to get a good comp pick. Did you see Huff with the fumble? With the fumble punch against
I think he had 9 tackles and forced a fumble. I mean, Hufanga is going to get you a great comp pick. Drake Greenlaw, it depends on how many snaps he plays this year, not just if he's starting week 1 or not, because if he's not healthy, but it's going to depend on how many snaps he takes is going to be affects the comp pick, or I guess how many total games he starts. Jalen Moore is not going to be a good comp pick now. I think he's going to be like a 5th round comp is what he's going to get you. Of course, the 49ers are going to get a bunch of comp picks. You're looking at Aaron Banks, you're looking at Drake Greenlaw, Talanoa Hufanga, and then Jalen Moore are all going to get you comp picks. So this wasn't like, we just lost all these guys and you're getting anything that, like, they are loading up to continue on this youth movement as it goes forward. But Dre Greenlaw, I love Dre as much as anybody, but that's exactly why we let him go.
Yeah.
And I talked about that last year. I love Dre Greenlaw as a player. Love Dre Greenlaw as a player. Dude missed 40% of his games with us since 2019.
That's
you're talking
tough.
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's
lot.
6 seasons.
That's
6 seasons. We think about him as only being like a four-year guy, because people will say, well, he missed an entire year. Still, you have 5 other seasons. You can see my wonky football finger hand. That's 5 full seasons that he's still, 1 out of 6 is not 40%. He's missed almost 3 full seasons of games in his 6 seasons with us. So, like, yeah, Dre just missed so much time. He was always missing 4 or 5 games a year. Every year, it would be 2 games here, 2 games there, and then half of a game somewhere else. And that's not even counting all the adding ups of half games that he didn't finish, like last year against the Rams. I love Dre, but dude could not stay on the field, and we see that week 1, not on the field. That's been what Dre is. So when you're missing 40% of your games, your best ability is availability. That's what and that's what's happening. So
yeah,
we've getting a lot of questions about JJ Scholler. I don't know yet. I haven't seen any news about that. That we probably won't find out until this afternoon. Shanahan usually comes in and does a presser. I think around 1 p.m. my time is usually when he does the presser. It's after he watches. They meet as a team. They go over the tape from the previous year, and then as the position group split up. Apparently, one of my kids spit up this morning at the dentist. That's fun. So I might have a sick kiddo. that they split up into their position groups then to go over the film again and then do their regen and stuff. That from there, Shanahan comes from the team meeting room over to the press room and answers some questions. We might get some answers. I don't think we're going to get some full answers. This training staff room will look at him. He's probably going to say, we're going to get an MRI later today. As they do that, I always am a little surprised that these teams don't just have an MRI facility at the facility. Like they always go down to the hospital and have these done. But like with the amount of money that NFL teams have and the frequency that they're getting MRIs and stuff on stuff, you would think that these teams would just go ahead and invest.
Partner with the
Well, not even partner, like they already do. Just like they would just have the facilities on staff. Like you would just have an MRI machine there, especially if you're the 49ers, because you got like a guy every other day needing an MRI on a soft tissue. So you might as well just get the bulk discount on it and buy a machine yourself.
Yeah. Oh man, what a good week overall. Still excited that we showed some grit and came back in Seattle. Just thinking through all that. Reminder, guys, on the channel. So we like to come to you usually Monday and Friday. Also, now that it's the season, these videos are going to be coming hot and heavy. So make sure you hit the notification bell, because the way life happens and Johnny gets the footage and things, it's not always a set time when those videos can get released. So it's better if you hit the notification bell so you can be notified when those videos drop. And sometimes we don't always go live at the exact times that we always want to.
We always try to.
Yeah, as life happens and kids spit up and things happen, it doesn't always happen that way. So when you're showing people the channel, make sure you have them hit the notification bell and explain why. It really is to help you out. And then Sports Idiot Nation, one thing on Sports Idiot Nation this week, remember that lady with the Phillies, the baseball, she stole it went viral, this story. We definitely dive into that. So if you want to laugh a little bit, tune into Sports Idiot Nation. We get into college football and the rest of the NFL. I want to end on this, Johnny.
Okay, well, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask you about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and the game last night.
I mean, it was a good game. I mean, those guys are who they are. They're dynamic players.
They're who we thought they were.
I mean, yeah, that's an overused statement, but I mean, no, I mean, it was what it was. I was a little disappointed with the Ravens, just seeming like Derrick Henry was running over everybody and running through everybody on that Bills defense.
He fumbled the game away. That's what he did.
Yeah, and the Ravens seemed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. I think they had like a 91% chance of winning that game at one point.
Unreal.
And so, we know about that. I also was feeling very jealous of their kicker. They went out and just, of course, nailed the game-winning kick.
Prater just grabbed him. Just okay.
Yeah.
Well, Richard Sherman. You saw Richard Sherman's tweet. Like, guys, how hard is it to find a kicker? There's plenty of good ones out there.
Like, I mean, honestly, who has a worse kicker than the 49ers right now?
That I know. Sadly, not being a homer, not being like just being, that's what's tough. It's tough to say that
there is no way we don't have the worst kicker in the league right now.
That's really a true statement. Like, that's not being a homer. That's not being anything.
It's not being biased in any way. Like, that's
right.
Just
it's
legitimately
facts. Like
because I'm usually on the side of like we tend to evaluate with bias because we feel the pain of a missed field goal more than anybody.
Take that away.
But even you take that away and you just empirically look around, like I don't see other kickers missing 27-yard kicks. Now Harrison Butker missed an extra point Friday night, but that wasn't why they lost.
Right.
Because they also executed one of the most crazy before the halftime kicks I've ever seen, where they got on the field and kicked a 56-yarder in 9 seconds. Like, if Jake Moody was given a half hour to make a 56-yard field goal, he would probably still find a way to pee down his leg. Like, that would be what happens with that. So we have the worst kicker in the league. So I don't. Just saying. Now, I want to address this because there's been some controversy with the show, Adam. I don't know if you've seen this, particularly from Glass City. Glass City has been very frustrated with the way that shows have ended. He feels in some way either that I've got something wrong technically on my end, or that it's just like we haven't been able to figure this out. He's very frustrated with the fact that you keep getting cut off at the end of the shows. Okay, can you assuage Glass City in any way about the way we've been ending the shows?
Absolutely.